Alright, this is the last part of getting stuff on your note card. It will be just a little clip on what you might want to get on your note card for section 7.5. And I like to call this one special similar triangle situations. And there's 3 of them. Well, actually there's 4, but the first kind isn't special, and that's just like when you have these 2 triangles that they tell you are similar and you're missing a piece. Then you just, do x over 2 is 9 over 7. That's not special. That's what we've been doing most of the chapter. But there were 3 situations that we put in a box in class today if you were absent. So if you want to chop a box into 3 pieces. The first one was the situation where it's called similarity in right triangles. So you'll see a right triangle and you'll see it split into 2 others. The trigger is this right angle. And when you see that, that launches you into 7.4, and we called it the Hassel process. That should already be on your note card. We put it on there on Monday, so I'm not going to go through that process. This is just going to trigger it. The second one is when we have a triangle and we have these parallel line runners. And there's a theorem, it doesn't really matter what it's called, you just need to know how to use it, that says when you have those parallel lines, it cuts these pieces into proportion so that A over B, this side gets split in exactly the same way as the other side gets split. I mean, you could also go D over C equals B over A, but you have to graph those sides and consistently split them. So since I chose A over B, I have to go C over D. Situation number 3 that I call a special similar triangle situation is when you have a triangle and it's not the side that gets split, but you'll see this little angle being bisected, and there's the trigger there. So if you don't have a highlighter, you might, what I told them in class to do is maybe write that the trigger right here is right angles, the trigger right here is parallel lines, and the trigger on this one is the bisected angle. Because your note card's yellow, so highlighting in yellow might not be very helpful. But this one, I told them to extend that farther so they view it more as, instead of an angle bisector, which it is, but a side slicer. And we labeled these sides, I don't even remember what letters, it doesn't really matter what letters we use, but we grab the side that gets split and we set up a proportion. Now I can do x over w or w over x, but once I make that choice, I have to choose the triangle that the x is on to set up my other ratio, so the r over q. If somebody else chose w over x, they would have to do q over r. But both people are going to get the same cross products when they multiply. So these are the 3 from 7.5 to add to your note card. This is by far the most difficult one, so if you don't have any clue what this is about, that's going to be a big issue because it's worth a lot of points. All right, that is all. Thanks, Miss L.